I am le luthier professionnel, le artiste, Jack Rue, and you are watching the Hashtag Truth podcast with Scott Larson. You know, that means you have the good taste, like me.
Cause we're always looking out for you. Always looking out for you. Always looking out for you. Always looking out for you.
Introducing Superjaws Indie Supercard, the first pro wrestling trading card game with real wrestlers using their real moves, but not real weapons, because they're cards. Play with over 50 wrestlers such as George South, C.W. Anderson, the Jim Nasty Boys, the Dawson Brothers, Colby Carino, and many, many more. Go to becometheace.com/store to order the Ace Series 1 set, shipping in June 2020.
Well, it would help if I would turn off the black screen. There you go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to It's been a long day. You're my third show today, brother. Welcome to Hashtag Truth. Tonight we have the one, the only, Dustin Johns. How you doing, sir?
Hey, man, it's been a great day. Just been a great day. Been looking forward to this all week. How are you?
I'm doing totally awesome, man. Like I said, you're my third show today. I've been podcasting all day. Nothing better than what I do. It's always a fun time. So I'm going to start off with the same question I start off with every wrestler that's probably ever been on the show. How long have you been in the business, sir?
Been in this business for 4 years now.
Okay, 4 years.
Started at the first part of 2016. Man, it's been a ride.
Really? So what do you mean by that?
A lot of ups and a lot of downs. I was in my career about a year, actually just a little bit less than a year in, that is. Got in a match, funny thing, did something simple as a kip up, tore my ACL.
Oh, snap. So you started your career on a high note.
Oh, yeah. In an 8-man tag match of all things, just a kip up and boom, there it goes.
Kip up and throw the cross up in the air, right?
I actually finished that match. It was pretty interesting, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So how do you finish a match? You didn't tag back in? Please tell me you didn't tag back in.
No,
okay.
I didn't tag back in. I was able to kind of crawl in there and do a little fight on one knee with a guy to finish this thing up, and then I've had enough. I couldn't do anything else. And next thing I know, one of our team members gets pinned, and I'm off to the back trying to figure out why my knee's so swollen. Didn't know it was an ACL tear at first, but I knew it was something, and I knew it was bad.
Yeah, that was going to be my question. When did you realize that that there was something major going on?
Well, the next day when I woke up, I couldn't walk. So, I mean, that's a red flag. Okay, I got to go to the hospital to figure this thing out. And then have some MRIs after that. Then they revealed, hey, by the way, you get an ACL torn. When do you want surgery? And it's just, I knew something was up, and they got me in there as quick as I could. The recovery path was insane. That is one of the hardest injuries to ever come back from. But I can tell you to this day, since I had it done, I've worked back up. I got my leg presses back up good. It feels like I was when I was 18 years old. So,
right.
Better than ever.
My wife, my lovely wife in the other room, just had knee surgery herself. She had to have a tear repaired, and they took a lot of arthritis out of her knee, and she's doing therapy right now, and it is painful. She is in more pain when she comes home from therapy than she is when she's doing regular day to day. You know what I'm saying? Don't make sense to me, but they say it's getting better, so you got to listen to what the doctors say. So how long did it keep you on the shelf?
Actually didn't keep me on the shelf too long. It took me out for 6 months. I recovered
quite
quickly. I mean, here's the key to the whole thing. Do exactly what the doctor tells you to do.
Yeah. She's doing that. Everybody, we've had a lot of people come out of the woodwork, a lot of our friends and Facebook friends that have had knee problems like yourself come out and said the same thing. All of them told her the same thing. They just bum rushed her with it. Listen to the doctor, do whatever he says, and she's doing it. She's doing I'm proud of her. She's doing a really good job, man. She's coming out of it. So let me ask you, man, when did you realize that you wanted to be in the wrestling business, man? Was you watching a certain wrestler? Were you a kid, or did you go to a wrestling show one day, or what happened? When did you decide to become a wrestler?
I was when I wanted to do this, when it started getting my heart, was back when I was about 4 years old. We had ordered a pay-per-view. We ordered WrestleMania 4, and I saw Randy Savage, and that was right when I figured it out. That's when I knew I was a fan.
Oh yeah. There you go. Right. Everybody's got a good Randy Savage, man. So Randy Savage, wow. So what is your gimmick as Dustin Johns? What kind of wrestler would you describe your character?
Well, the nickname is the antagonist, and as far as what that's concerned, you can kind of take that any way you want. I'm against pretty much any moral that my opponent stands for, whether I'm heel or whether I'm babyface. Mostly heel everywhere, but the screen almost went away there for a minute. But yeah, I'm mostly heel about everywhere I go, and it's pretty aggressive character. A lot of old school aspect to it. Maybe a little bit of new. My strikes are getting better. I'm finishing off with a sick kick or maybe like a big DDT or something. But mostly old school storytelling, because I think that's what
nice. I love that. I'm an old-fashioned type, old school type wrestler. I grew up watching Continental Championship Wrestling in Southern Territories, and man, I love that Memphis wrestling. They were basically fighting. A few wrestling moves in there, but a lot of fighting. And love that stuff, man. So what is your finishing move? What is that move that you use to just finish off your opponents?
I chose something that I could hit on anybody, and that was the key. And I'm using the Claymore kick right now. I mean, Drew McIntyre's made that famous, but I'm using the Claymore. I used to use a 3/4 turn spin out DDT, which was kind of cool, but I found that when I'm in the ring with a guy that's about 400 pounds, good luck trying to do that, because it's realistically not going to happen. I mean,
I'm 450, so I don't think it's happening. Not a lot of people can do that to me, and I'm not even a wrestler. So
that's just
there's
science.
been a few times that my wife has done it, but never mind. You don't want to know about that. James Kiefer said, "Hi Scott, how you doing, James? Welcome to #Truth, man. We're sitting here talking to Dustin. Wow, my tongue, man. I'm telling you, I got to slow down. Let me breathe." We're sitting here talking with Dustin Johns about his wrestling career, and man, 4 years. So tell me, do you remember your first match?
Oh yeah, it was a train wreck.
Was it worse than tearing your ACL?
No, not
okay,
that
good.
bad.
Good.
But
Glad to hear that.
I was like a fish out of water. I mean, I did listen. I was in the ring with a guy that was about 375, and it was a squash. Got a couple of strikes in there, and I remember doing a move off the top where I was able to knock him down. Went back to the top with the second rope, trying to do a little Lawler deal with the fist. Came down, and I actually punched the crap out of the mat. I mean, that legit hurt, and finished me off with a final cut. And I remember hitting my head in the back of the mat too, because I was just so excited and knocked myself in the next week.
So you take a bump literally, right?
Oh, literally.
Without a doubt.
Smarter now.
Right? James Kiefer said, "I'll ask my usual question. What would your dream match be? If you could wrestle anybody, who would it be?"
Living?
Living
right now,
doesn't matter.
Living right now would be Randy Orton. Best in the business, in my opinion.
Oh. You just want to get hit by the RKO out of nowhere, right?
Oh yeah. That'd be something if I hit him with an RKO out of nowhere too, though.
And he's been hit with a Claymore kick or 2 or 3 too, so he knows how to take those without a doubt. So let me ask you this, man. In the 4 years now, you said you tore your ACL. You didn't have a very good first match, but what is the craziest thing you've ever seen in the wrestling ring with your own eyes?
My own eyes. Inside, I'll go with where I've been. I had back in September. You may have even seen this match. We had for Resolute Wrestling. We had something called September to Remember, and
Okay.
myself and Draven Lee, we had a barbed wire ropes Tennessee death match.
Oh, I
And
did not see that, but that sounds brutal. I'm about to go back and check that out.
yeah, we had everything from a barbed wire style table. We had ladders in there. We had chairs in there. We had a beer drinking contest in the middle of the match, which was pretty interesting. Yeah.
Woo! I already know the answer to this before I even ask it, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Did you bleed?
Oh yeah. I bled. My back was torn up. I still got a scar on my back that is it's bad.
So did you actually get tossed into the barbed wire ropes?
More than once.
Oh,
Probably about 4 times. Once I was actually backing up, just trying to get my wits about me, and I legit hit them. Didn't even realize where I was at the time, and that pretty well sucked too.
that's not the right match to lose track of where you're at in the ring. That really.
No. But I'll tell you, I mean, it's for a match like that. We were lit. I mean, I kind of had to get lit to even get to the point of wanting to do that because there's no way I would do that sober.
It's like being at a bar and you see a pretty woman across the way and you're a shy guy and you got to drink about 4 or 5 before you get the nerve to walk up and say hi, right?
Or just say something stupid.
Right. Well, usually you do anyway, but so what kind of weapons was used in that match? I mean, I'm pretty sure if you had barbed wire surrounding it and all that stuff, you probably had a bunch of unique weapons during the match.
We had chairs. We actually had a barbed wire bat. We had kendo sticks. We had trash can lids, trash cans. Somebody had brought one of these. How do I describe it? It's like the little thing that you can hold your clothes on, like one of those racks, and they put one of those noodle things on it. And I hit the guy. I looked. I'm like, what the hell? Let me get rid of the noodle deal. And I actually hit him.
Sweet.
That was a little bit of everything in there.
So how long did that match last?
I looked at it. It lasted about 25 minutes.
Wow. And
Yeah,
I mean, it was probably blood and guts from the get-go, right?
Pretty much. A lot of live rounds. I mean, it's like hit hard, apologize later. And
oh, wow.
did.
You're going to have to send me the link to that match wherever it's at, man, because I really do want to see that match. I would love to watch that match.
I'll have to private message you that. I'll find a link. I know it's on YouTube. If you search for Draven Lee versus Dustin Johns, you'll find it. It's probably in one of the top 5 results there. There's 3 different angles in that match too. It was uploaded by 3 different people.
Oh, then I will definitely find it then, without a doubt. I'll find it. I'll go straight to YouTube after the show and check it out because I mean, that's got to be crazy. Drinking alcohol, barbed wire, wrestling, blood, the whole 9 yards. That had to be one wild match. Would you consider that your craziest match you've ever done?
Craziest, yes. Dumbest too. Craziest, dumbest.
Oh, well, yeah.
Not my best, but it was. I think it really helped get my name out there. Just people saw a different side of me.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I bet they did. They probably saw more of you than they wanted to, with all the blood coming out. And
I think I saw more of me than I wanted to, actually.
Have you had any promoters ask you to do something like that since then?
Actually, not yet, which is kind of cool. Any of the promoters that talk to me and they want me to come in because they saw some of my older stuff. Hey, do you want to come in and wrestle? Here's what I got for you. Interested? And that's pretty much it, And they said, just come out here, be the antagonist.
Right there, you go. So, what wrestling organization would you call home? Where do you wrestle the most?
I wrestle the most right now at Resolute Wrestling out of Crossville, Tennessee. And if you do my second, there's a company based out of Dunlap. They're called Great South Wrestling Federation that I've jumped on with, and they are excellent too. Just an excellent group of guys.
Nice, man. Nice. So, with all these for 4 years of wrestling, have you held any titles?
I held a very few. There was an organization in Pikeville, formerly called MCW, that I held their mid card title for a little while. At Resolute. I've held the tag team title. I have held the pound for pound title at Resolute, and well, that's it. That's all I've had.
Hey, still, hey, that's 3 or 4 more than I've ever held.
And I'm very proud of every single one of those reigns too. It's because they put faith in me to hold a title, and it means they're betting on me. So
Right, right.
must have been doing
If
something
any
right.
organization puts a title on any wrestler, they're actually asking them to be a face of the company in one way, shape, or form. So that is something to be proud of, without a doubt, man. And us fans recognize that. If they put a belt on you, they saw something in you. So in turn, we're probably going to see that same thing in you. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And the funny thing is as honored as I am, I also become more humble because you never know how quickly that can be taken away from you.
Right? Because I mean, the one thing I've never, like I said, I'm not a wrestler, never been a wrestler. I've always been behind my mic. But the one thing that a lot of wrestlers have told me during interviews and that is when you hold a title, of course, there's the prestige. You're the face of the company. They believe in you. But it also turns heads. People start watching you more. You know what I'm saying? When you're holding the title out at intermission, kids want to come up and say, "Hey, what titles this guy got?" If they haven't seen you wrestle already or don't know who you are, hey, there's a champ over there. I need to go over there and get an autograph, or maybe I need to go over there and get a T-shirt or something. And wrestling's a great thing like that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, it is. And that's one of my favorite parts about this business. It is because I was one of those guys. I was such an introvert. I didn't know how to approach people, and this right here, being in wrestling, and I did music in the past too, helped me be able to talk to people and enjoy it.
Right. So how'd you feel when that first little kid walked up to you and asked for your autograph?
I did not know what to do. I mean, I about froze because I figured, really, somebody is asking me for an autograph. Who am I? But I obliged, obviously.
Hey, I was at a wrestling show last year before COVID broke out, and had a I don't want to say a woman. She was like in her late teens, early 20s at the most. Just almost made me cry. She walked up. She goes, "Hey, Scott, I know who you are. You do your hashtag truth. Would you stand up and take a picture with me?" And I was flabbergasted. First time anybody ever asked, as far as hashtag truth goes. And I was like, "You want to take a picture with me?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm not a wrestler, but that's okay. But you do hashtag truth." I was like, "Okay, let's take a picture."
Tells you, man, you're doing something right. But you got a great show. Everything's professional. I mean, it caught my eye
Right.
instantly.
Right.
So
Well, I just
it's
like
great to
having
do
fun.
that.
I just like coming on here and I tell everybody be who they are. I am who I am.
Mhm.
I just love to get everybody's name out there, and everybody who watches my show frequently knows exactly what it's all about and who I am. And like I said, I'm just a guy on here. I'm a 30 plus year fan of the business, and I just love wrestling as a whole, man. I can't wait till we get back to wrestling all the time. I didn't realize until this COVID-19 how good we really had it.
Mhm.
We had AEW coming up. We had, WWE flourishing. We had Ring of Honor. We had all these companies were popping up. I'm in South Carolina, so right on the North Carolina border. So both states, I can go and see wrestling. And, there's new organizations that was popping up all over the place. When this COVID hit, oh my gosh, it was like being on life support and somebody just pulled the plug. It was like, you know what I
I
mean?
know.
How'd you feel when it happened?
I started losing bookings left and right, and we Resolute. We were trying to go as much as we could, and we had a guy that made a comment that said Resolute will run until Lord Humongous comes and steals their generator. And
That's good.
we had to pull the plug for a little while, so
Yeah.
it hurts, but we had to do what we had to do, and I figured, I gotta do something to keep my mind occupied here. I went and bought a weight set. I'm pretty religious about going to the gym, and our gym's closed and everything, so I was out of work for a while too with my shoot job. I mean, I'm twice a day lifting weights just out of boredom, and
I
I'm glad
imagine.
I did that.
I see a lot of these wrestlers doing videos now. Going to the gym, and there's still a lot of the gyms you still have to wear a mask. I have trouble. Of course, I've got medical issues. I have trouble just wearing a mask, because of my medical issues and I'm a big guy, and if I go out and start walking places, and I'm under a mask, breathing is hard for me. I'm just going to be honest. But I understand why we got to wear it, so I'm not going to get into all that. But going to a gym and working out, doing the reps and doing all that, how do you breathe under a mask? It just amazes me,
It's rough. Actually, my gym is not requiring it, but I'm doing it as a courtesy
Precaution.
to people.
Yeah.
But and I have asthma too, so let's add that there. I guess it's what it just comes down to is the fact of all the training that I've done and built myself up to that point to where I can do it. And
Right.
there's nothing easy about it whatsoever. But I guess at the same time, like I said, just I built up a tolerance to it, and it's got my cardio better, so I breathe a little better.
Right, without a doubt. I have to put this up here, man. This is my buddy right here. Max Carnage says everybody knows who's Max. We were talking about, people knowing who you are. He said everybody knows who Max Carnage is, Lyle. He's a buddy of mine that wrestled here in North Carolina, and he moved over right outside of Denver, Colorado, and he's wrestling over there now. So making a name for himself in two different areas. Max, welcome back to the show, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, he's twice been on the show, interviewed, so he's a veteran of the show.
Cool. I got a cousin that wrestled in North Carolina that still lives there. Went by the name of Ruthless R.J. Hewitt, and he was
Really?
really pushing me about getting in the business too when I was still doing music. And I said, "Well, man, I don't know. I'm not big enough because at the time I'm like, hey, I'm 160 pounds. I'm a small guy. I don't know." And I just started hitting the gym as soon as I got that confidence. That's the thing about me. I really needed the look and the confidence to go out there and do it because I knew if I didn't, I'd just fall flat on my face.
Right, right. So what would you how would you explain to people who you are outside of wrestling? Are you a shy guy? Are you, like you said, you had to build confidence to do this. So are you shy outside of the ring?
Yeah, I am. I still am shy. Not as bad as I used to be because I used to be awkwardly shy. But yeah, I'm a shy guy. But once you get me talking, you're not going to shut me up.
That's a good thing. I'm glad to hear that. Seeing you're on a podcast, that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
James Kiefer, yeah, who is Max Carnage? I got you. Ringsiders all the way from Cali said, "What a horribly busy day, but hello from California." Ringsiders, you've been laid an awful lot, man. You're gonna have to dock your pay. Oh yeah, that's right. I don't pay you. Welcome to the show, man.
You're going to have to give him half a zero.
Yeah. Something that the government does. They'll take from you anyway. But
legalized extortion. That's about as political as I'll get today.
Yeah, me too. Trust me too. I don't even watch the news, man. That's how good it is for me.
It's the most
people
depressing
have to
thing
tell
on
me
television.
things. They're like, "Hey, did you see that?" No, don't know what you're talking about. It's all over the news. Yeah, nice to hear.
As I said, I don't want to watch it, man. It's the most depressing thing I've ever seen on TV. You'll get 30 minutes or an hour of bad, or let's say 59 and 45 seconds. You get 15 seconds at the very end of something that somebody did good.
Yeah.
Somebody
Somebody's saving a puppy or something, and then the rest of it's all just horrible. Yeah, basically. Okay, so who was your favorite wrestler growing up? Did you watch wrestling growing up, and who was your favorite wrestler?
Growing up, absolutely. Number one, as I said before, Randy Macho Man Savage, without a doubt. But some of the other guys that caught my attention, Ravishing Rick Rude, Perfect Deal, Mr. Perfect. As far as tag teams, I was a big fan of Doom, Ron Simmons and Butch Reed. Wow.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Four Horsemen, I always followed the Four Horsemen. I was rooted for the heels. I was not a Hogan guy. I liked the Warrior. He's about the only babyface I rooted for. But yeah,
Really?
I was for all the heels growing up.
So did you pop when he come running out and he won the Intercontinental Championship in like 15 seconds?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I did. At 4 years old, I was like, yay!
Right? I did too. I did too. Some people in the wrestling industry that do podcasts like myself will claim that that's one of the most horrible matches in WWE history because, it was so short and why have a champion if you're going to beat him in 15 seconds? But it was the Ultimate Warrior. Hello.
He was
Don't
groomed for the
don't
position.
don't ask for an open match if you don't want your butt beat. I'm just saying.
Sure.
Just saying.
I'll tell
A
you what.
lot of those open challenges don't end very well.
No, they don't. I'm a victim of that too, man.
Really? So you
Yeah.
actually did that?
I did that. Yeah, it wasn't smart. And then of course I was the last. Well, the reason I lost my pound for pound title, I had a big match with a guy named called him Cole the Conspiratist. This was the right before the COVID hit, and every year we do a Shane Smalls Memorial Cup, and you win a trophy, and you get cash in for the pound for pound title. Then a year's time, right after that match, Caleb Courageous cashes in for the pound for pound title, drops me on my dome. Bye bye championship.
That's awesome. It sounds like the organization that I go to all the time and that I promote all the time here in North Carolina. They're HWA, Heritage Wrestling Alliance.
Mhm.
They have what's called a bunkhouse brawl every year, and they have a bunkhouse trophy you can win. It's a big battle royal, and the winner wins the bunkhouse brawl trophy, and they can turn that in at any time during the year for any title. So same, it's all money in the bank type stuff. You know what I'm saying? But
Good
it's fun to
concept.
watch, man. Because we're always, once that, like this year, Big Country, one of our, by the way, Big Country had a birthday today. So Big Country, if you happen to watch this, happy birthday, sir. Greatest super heavyweight in our area, without a doubt. But he won the bunkhouse brawl this last year, and if it wasn't for the COVID, every time the champions come out and win a match, we're all looking at the curtain. Just like in WWE. There's always that. Anytime somebody can come out with that Money in the Bank, briefcase, and so it's a fun time to do stuff like that, man. So, what do you think about stuff like that?
Well, I mean, I think in this Dave, we kind of need some excitement. We need a little bit of what if. We need a little bit of shock from time to time. Because I mean, I know I don't want to use the word stale at all, but I mean, sometimes it can get predictable, and we don't want that.
Right.
I mean, with the scenario that I had, Caleb, before he took the title from me, he was actually our special guest referee in the match, and I miscued and hit him with that sick kick that carried him out. So when he came out, the crowd just erupted. And I mean, it's like, in back of my head, I know, hey, we got him. We got him here. So we've accomplished.
Right. Don't you love that? Even though you're the victim, don't you love to hear that? Like, oh, yes, listen to that. You're supposed to be laying there knocked out, unconscious. The other guy's got the belt, but you don't care at that point because all you hear is the crowd cheering.
They're invested.
That's got to be a good feeling.
Business. I mean, they got their money's worth that night, and that's what matters. We're here for
right,
them.
right, exactly. I always tell everybody it's a good show. If I go home and I still have a voice, it was an okay show. If I go home and I cannot speak, especially the next morning, that's when I went to a good wrestling show the night before. Because I get loud, I get boisterous. Everybody who has ever sat around me in EWF or HWA knows that I'm very loud. I'm very loud there. So, so let me ask you this, man. The first time you walked through the curtain, describe what it felt like the first time you literally walked through the curtain for a paid gig in wrestling.
Extreme butterflies. I wouldn't say scared to death. Because I had good training. I had very good training, extensive before we even did this. But extreme butterflies, and really didn't know how to interact with the crowd. I was behind a mask, so this helped things. beforehand, I did some ring announcing and stuff, so it got me used to the wrestling crowd. So that's probably what helped me not be so scared around there. But yeah, extreme butterflies, and God, I hope I don't screw this up.
So what's the one thing that what is the first thing that you were taught when you were trained as a wrestler that stuck with you that you didn't know when you walked into training?
Protect this business at all costs.
That's a
Yeah.
good one. A
Mm,
lot of
it's big.
I won't say a lot, but there are some people out there who don't do that. But
Mhm.
but yeah, that is a good one. Wiping your feet when you walk into the ring. How do you feel about that?
I do it every time. Respect. There's not a time that I haven't. Well,
Very
okay, with the
good.
exception of a run in. With the exception of a run in.
Right, right. I mean, there's times when you can't do it. We understand that as fans, but if
Mhm.
you do a regular entrance, I look for it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you. Heel or baby, I look for it
Mm.
every time somebody comes out on with a regular entrance. Of course,
Yep.
you know, I look for it. If you don't wipe your feet, oh, that's the first no for me as a fan. I just look and go, well, I'm not rooting for that guy, even if he's one of my favorites. I'm
Mhm.
like, ooh, that's not good. But for the most part, most wrestlers do it. Most
Mhm.
wrestlers do it. There are some that will forget afterwards. They'll, oh, I forgot, doggone, because especially if you're green, I can understand if you're green, like one of your first 2-3 wrestling matches. You're so nervous when you get out there. You're thinking about doing your moves. You're thinking about the psychology. You got all that stuff running through your mind. Now, I'm not saying it's an excuse, but I can see where it would happen. But,
Oh yeah.
you got the veterans in the back that'll tell you, when you get back there, hey, man, good match, but you forgot to wipe your feet, man.
Mhm. I actually remember to do it in my first match. That was one thing I remembered.
Awesome, awesome. Well, see, there you go. There you go. See that's a good. That's when you've been trained well and that you respect the business. And I appreciate you for that, man. I really do.
Thank you.
So you said the first time you came out, you were under a mask. What
Yeah.
was your character's name when you came out from
It's
this?
hilarious. It's the Canadian Drifter. I was under a Canadian mask, and they called me the
Oh, so you
Canadian
had the.
Drifter.
Oh, nice. You didn't sing the
Mhm.
Canadian national anthem or anything, right?
No, but my entrance music was a rocked up version of the Canadian national anthem.
Very good. Very
Mhm.
good. Did you win it?
No, no,
Ah.
I never won under that gimmick ever.
So it was a squash gimmick. Was it a learning gimmick?
It was a learning gimmick. There weren't a lot of squashes. There were some competitive matches, but it was
Right.
not meant to be a winning character. And it helped me with a lot of different styles that the guys use because I was in the ring with a lot of different style opponents. Any guys between 160 and 380 pounds.
Right.
So it was a major learning experience. And then finally, when I got out of the mask and started working as myself, I had a deeper appreciation for everything after that. I'm glad
Now,
I went
now,
through what I went through.
right,
That way, when I have success, I appreciate it a lot more, and I knew I just wasn't going to piss it away.
right, right. No doubt. Now, I'm not going to give away your full shoot name, but 75% of it is your character name. So,
Hmm.
how did that come about?
How did I pick that? I just took the O end at the end off, so I wasn't going to be confused with a golfer. Um, I
That's
like to
always
hand a
a
guy's
good thing.
wages.
Now, that would have been kind of funny if you'd had a golf gimmick to start off with.
Would have been hilarious. It would have. Barry Darso beat me to that though.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. There you
Hmm.
go.
But
I'm pretty sure ringsiders appreciate you starting under a mask. They're all about their gimmick. They said with names out there like Max Carnes and Jackson saying, I couldn't help but realize I am, and this is his gimmick name. As a fan who sits, his whole family sits in the front row of all the shows, and there are 4 fans. It's him and his 3 sons, and I think it's 2 sons and a daughter. I might have that wrong, but I know it's the whole family, him and his children, and they're all under a mask and they call themselves ringsiders. And his name is Less Attractive.
that's great.
He says he wears a mask because he's got a face for radio. It's a great gimmick, man. I love it. I always have loved it. Nick the Stick, how you doing, man? I saw your match last night. Good win. Congratulations, man. But I'm telling you, man. So what do you think of the way wrestling is right now on TV with the hockey walls up and all that stuff going on? Is that your thing, or would you rather see a crowd?
I'd rather see a crowd. I think what's going on here is, as far as the competitors, as far as the guys and the girls that are in here tearing it up, I think with the situation, they're doing the best that they can do with it. I can tell you, it's hard to go out there without a crowd and try to feed, because a lot of what I try to do, babyface or heel, I'm feeding off a crowd reaction.
You're reading the crowd, right? You're actually reading the crowd.
I mean, I commend every single one of them for going out there doing this right now. I mean,
now I could say one thing. I could say one thing as a fan, from a fan perspective, is I've noticed that it's all about the wrestling now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people are there's nothing else to watch. We can't watch. There's no crowd to look at. I mean, there's very few people on the other side of the glass or on the other. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. On the other side of the wall, you know, very few people. So there's nothing really to catch your attention on the outside. You know what I'm saying? It's really focused. So we can tell when there's more mess ups in the ring. Because it's all focused on the wrestling, and the wrestling, believe it or not, in my opinion anyway, from the matches that I have watched, is better.
I believe so. I don't think the average the casual fan is gonna catch the screw up, but people like you and I that know a lot about this business, we're gonna know. And
Right.
I can kind of catch things where they've, well, that didn't go great, so we covered up really well. I've been able to catch the cover-ups really well, and they're doing a great job of covering things up too.
One of the funniest moments that I had, and I laughed till I cried, was one of the first WWE, like I think it was Monday Night Raw after COVID broke and there was nobody in the audience. One of the it was a matter of fact, it was WrestleMania, the first night of WrestleMania. Asuka was in the first match. And I thought it was so fun. And I know she did it out of habit, because, you know, you get into habits as a wrestler, you know, sometimes. And as soon as they did their lockup and they came apart, she started doing this. And I just looked at the TV screen and started laughing. I'm like, who the hell are you trying to get to clap?
Hopefully some of us at home did.
Do you think 1.6 million people are at home are doing this now because you are? No.
Maybe the kids might. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe a few kids, but I'm just saying. I started cracking up, and then she didn't do it anymore after that. She hasn't done it since. But I just thought it was the funniest thing. It was like, who are you doing that for? You know, your crickets chirping out there. You know, there's nobody.
Get her on the mic. I think I could listen to her on the mic for 3 hours. I'm totally entertained.
Oh, just her yelling in Japanese, man.
Yeah,
I love it. I just totally love it. And her face paint. Oh, I love the face paint too. The drizzled face paint and stuff that she wears. The whole gimmick. Japanese gimmicks, for the most part. There's only one that I really don't like that's up in the upper echelon, and that's the first AEW champion, the one that was like 5 nothing, weighed 30 pounds, and she beat the biggest girl in the wrestling, you know, in the wrestling. I couldn't believe that, man. I'm like, that is so non-believable. I just looked at that and shook my head and went, what were you thinking, AEW? But then I found out she was dating one of the big guys, so it made sense.
Yeah, I think that's one thing you got to do. You got to accomplish here. You got to accomplish some realism. You really do, because I think we, as fans, I mean, look what we've seen in the last 30 years. It's kind of hard to pull a fast one on us.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I have learned in doing this podcast a lot too is, a lot of people, and there's nothing wrong with this if you take little bits and pieces. Like you talked about, your favorite wrestlers, Macho. Gosh, my mouth. I'm telling you, it does work. I do speak English. English is my first language. I promise you. Like Randy Macho Man Savage. I'm going to get that out of my mouth. I promise. I'm pretty sure you took a thing or two from Randy and implemented it, even if it's just a punch or anything. I'm pretty sure you have something in your repertoire, right?
I do. I've got a couple of the actions, a little bit of my stance. Before I lock up, I kind of do the handshake like he did real quick, shake of the hand and then lock up. That I did take from. I didn't realize I had taken that till I started watching myself.
So do you sit down with somebody, maybe somebody else, another veteran or something, and sit down and watch your matches and go over what he thinks that you might need help with or to work on or something like that? Do you do that often?
From time to time, I will. A lot of times I don't really have the chance to sit down with someone. It's more, hey, brother, can you check this out? Send it to me, critique the hell out of it, tell me what you think, tear it down. I mean, if you got to be brutally honest, be brutally honest. So
now there's a lot of people that can't take constructive criticism in wrestling. Now I'm going to be honest, because there's a lot of egos in our sport.
Yeah, they're not well placed.
Right? Exactly. Now, have you had the fortune to call a match?
Yes.
In the ring?
Yes, I have.
So how do those matches go?
Normally when I do that, somebody listens. They go well. I mean, there's a occasional mess up here and there. I mean, for somebody that's starting, that's to be expected.
What's the biggest screw up that you did that you I'm pretty sure you wanted to forget, but you won't ever forget?
I'll tell you what happened. This was in the mask gimmick. We did a deal, and for some reason my mask kind of turned. I couldn't see. So he throws me off.
Those are the best. Them are the best times, man. When the mask guy gets his mask turned sideways, I love it. Go ahead.
Irish whip. He does the leapfrog. Then he does a drop down. I tripped over him when he dropped down.
You didn't jump. You just tripped.
I tripped because I did not know where he was. And I ran out of gas that night. It was a very hot arena. And yeah, I got blown up with about 4 minutes. And he just he get a couple moves. He said, "Bro, let's go home." And we went home.
Did you hear the laughs from the crowd?
Yes, I did hear that. I guess with the gimmick, they might have expected it because there was some comedy to the gimmick. But
okay. Well, that's a good thing then, because you could play off of it. You know what I mean? Just kind of straighten the mask up and go back to doing your thing, right?
Unfortunately, that mask didn't want to straighten up for some reason. That thing did not want to fit well that night.
Oh my gosh. So did you ever get in a match and like a punch or a kick or something, you forgot to pull it, or it just happened that you connected?
I did McMinnville. There was a guy, I've wrestled him in tag matches twice, and he says I notoriously have this habit of getting him in the nose, and I didn't mean to. I tapped the guy in the nose with a punch, and he's a bigger guy. I also did that to him during a run-in. So he came in on a run-in, and he came after me, and I was swinging wild, and I caught him again. But he was cool about it. I got my receipt. I deserved it. I mean, a good shot.
He did get you back.
Fine.
Well, I'm glad you said it with a laugh, because a lot of people wouldn't have said that with a laugh.
Gotta expect in this kind of business, something's gonna go right. Somebody's gonna connect. It's gonna happen. We run a risk every time we come out there.
Right. Now, have you ever had somebody put you in a move like some kind of slam or something, and it happens too sometimes? Their leg gives out or something happens where it just doesn't. You just don't land right.
It's happened. Sometimes it's been their fault. Sometimes it's been mine. I took Oh, I took like an acid drop once and I landed on my side, and that was terrible. I don't know what possessed me to do that. I don't know if maybe it was just like maybe a board coming up in the ring. That can happen. But somewhere I lost my balance. Broken rib. Yeah, this isn't great.
Oh,
Uh,
man.
I've
So outside, go
I
ahead.
body slammed a guy once, and we were like covered in everybody. It was hot too, covered in sweat, and he slipped. He was able to kind of fix himself though, and then he did the same thing to me, and I slipped. And we figured, all right, we're not going to do that the rest of the match.
Right, right. Okay, this is gonna be ground and pound from the rest from here on out. We're
Mhm,
we're gonna give him a fight.
sure, it worked. That's exactly what we did.
Hey, hey, nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of eye gouging. You can always run them across, rake them across the ropes. I mean, there's all kinds of things you can do without doing actual, pick them up. Even
That's what
though
my
I
favorite
like
things to
that
do.
style too, but there is a lot of things you can do without actually having to pick somebody up.
Oh yeah, it, it's unbelievable what you can do. I've been pretty impressed with what I've been able to come with up with on a dime. Even more so, with somebody I've been in the ring with, they've been able to come up with it on a dime. We've been in some rings that are pretty stiff, and they'll say we're gonna work like a '70s old school, and it's amazing what we can come up with.
Right, right,
Sometimes you just
without a
gotta
doubt,
think on a
man.
dime.
So I heard earlier you said that you were in a tag team. What was your tag team partner's name, and what was your tag team name?
I was in a tag team with Draven Lee before I turned on him. Uh,
Okay.
the tag team name was a New Age Dominion. I used to wear the face paint, very crazed kind of goth style gimmick.
Okay.
Came out to 6 feet under tune, and this finishing move that we had, where it was crazy. I had the guy in the DDT position. He threw the other guy's legs up on his shoulder, and we came down on this crazy like um, looking DDT. We called it Ugu because I got it from a Gilbert Gottfried joke.
There you go. There
and
you go.
it
I bet
it
that was
looks sick.
devastating looking. Did you
It
ever hurt
looked
anybody or misdo it?
nah. Everybody whoever took
Good,
that move took it perfectly because it
good.
looks really sick. It's not as bad as you think it is. It
It
sucks.
sounds sick.
It sucks. I'll have to find some video of that somewhere. Hopefully we got some. But yeah, it's a nasty looking finish.
Oh, I'm definitely gonna look at some of your stuff and see if I can't find it because that sounds like a devastating move, man.
hmm
So you of all the wrestlers that are there in your area, what is that one wrestler you haven't wrestled yet, but you just chomping at the bit to get in the ring with him or her?
Well, I was able to cross one off the list because that down in McDonald, Tennessee last Saturday, I got in the ring with Toby Farley. That was the
Nice.
first time. That guy is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. But as far as maybe a couple in the state that I'd like to get into the ring with, Graham Bell is one. There, Jordan Cage is another one.
Right.
Um, Well, I'm racking my brain here, but those are the two that I can come up with off the top of my head. That
So
would be
being
great.
in Tennessee, have you ever thought about going up there to Dr. Tom?
Yeah, I have. I hear he's having a 2-day seminar in August, and I need to just go ahead and send the email and the cash and do it because there's a lot of knowledge
Dr.
there.
Tom is phenomenal. There's a few wrestlers in our area who has went to his training school and
Mhm.
came back, and they are totally better than what they were at when they before they left. And I'm not saying they weren't good before they left. I'm just saying you could see the difference after Dr. Tom got a hold of them for a little while.
Look who he's
It was
training.
hard.
Look who he's
Both of them
training.
said it was hard as hell, but it was worth it.
Mm-hmm. One of the best teachers in the world, not just in the States, in the world.
I got the pleasure of actually seeing him in person probably more times than I could count when I lived down in Mississippi for a little while, and when he was in Continental Championship Wrestling and they did all the high schools and
Mhm.
and all the places in our area. We got to see him a whole bunch, and it was great to watch him growing up. He was one of my idols growing up. So one of many from Continental Championship Wrestling. If you ever go on YouTube, put in Continental Championship Wrestling and watch it back in the 80s when Gordon Soley was doing it, them are the times that I watched wrestling down there. That's what I grew up on.
One of the best announcers in the business, paved the way.
Oh, it made me want to do this. He's one of the three that made me want to do this. So yeah, without a doubt. So where do you see yourself, Dustin Johns, in 5 years? It'd be just like be like a job interview. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Hopefully signed.
There you go. That's everybody's dream, isn't it? If you could be signed, if you could pick the place to be signed, where would it be?
I'd have to go with the WWE. I mean, that's no disrespect anywhere else because AEW is doing a great job right now. That is a good place to be. But the WWE's they've always had my attention. I've been loyal to the product, and I've met some people that have worked in WWE that work for WWE, and it's kind of hard to say anybody else. That's where I want to go. But if I got offers from other companies, the NWA would also be awesome. That would be a dream come true. So
I would love to. I only live like probably like an hour and 30 minutes from Atlanta. I would love to go down there and be at one of the TV tapings. That's one of the things on my bucket list. I want to go down there and see one. Excuse me, man. I'm telling you, I don't know what it is. It must be the soda I'm drinking. Go down there and see one of them live in the studio, man. That would just be phenomenal. What do you think about studio wrestling? Do you like the old school style of the studio wrestling or the new style of all the lights and the get up?
I'm digging the new style more because I think they took the old to get there. I'm liking the new style more. I'd like to see some of the old style, but I mean, I love what the NWA's done with it. I think they've done great. As soon as I heard about that coming up on YouTube, I was completely excited about that. I figured, this is going to be great. And
I ain't gonna lie to you. I watched it all the way up until my boy got fired. Then I kind of got mad and I went away from it.
Jim,
I'm a huge Jim Cornette fan. A lot of people, it's not. I understand. A lot of people, he's not their cup of tea. But if you look through all the, I always tell people, if you look through all the, the way he talks, his tone and all that, he will teach you a hell of a lot. He's forgotten more than a lot of us will even, know about professional wrestling if you sit down and listen to Jim Cornette.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
I like him. I learned quite a bit from listening to his podcast. A lot of what he has to say when he critiques things, take into consideration. He's got a great mind for the business. Always has.
No doubt. So you've only been in the business for 4 years, but I'm going to ask this anyway because you seem pretty smart. After your wrestling career's over, when you put the boots up, when you know it's no longer going to be a thing, you've already said that you've ring announced. Have you refereed at all?
I have a couple times.
Okay, so you've ring announced, you've refereed, there's a lot of people that can go a lot of different ways when they hang up their boots. Mm-hmm. Some start promotions, some become bookers, you just seem like the kind of guy that or maybe even an instructor, but you just seem like the kind of guy that will keep going in the business. Have you ever thought about that? I know it's early in your career, but
I have. I mean, I started late. I'm 36, man. And DDP started late too. So, if it comes that time where I decide it's time to hang it up, and I'll know we all do.
Right.
When it comes that time, I might be a booker. Would I start a promotion? Maybe. I might go in with somebody on a promotion, an existing one. Production. I've liked the aspects of production. I mean, I can run sound and things like that. I do flyers for companies right now. There's a lot of different ways I could go with it.
What about managing? Would managing be part of maybe if somebody came to you with a good idea, a pretty good wrestler?
Yeah, I'd definitely take that under advisement. If I like the idea, I'll roll with it.
Right. There you go. Without a doubt, man. So of all the things that you've done in wrestling, what is the thing that you're most proud of?
Oh, the most proud of here, it started with the heel turn when it just ignited my fire a little more, because I felt like on a character level I was getting a little stale. Once I did the heel turn back in July up to this point, I'm proud of everything that I've done. And it's just I fit, and the feedback from the guys say, "Hey man, you got a fire lit. You're doing better. You just you're really you're doing things here, and we're happy with it." So I'd have to say everything from July on up now to now, I'm proud of.
Sweet. So have you heard about are wrestling organizations opening up in your area? Are some people running shows? I mean, in our area, there's some people that are running some shows here and there outside, or they're running shows without a crowd. What's the scene like up there in Tennessee?
Quite a few promotions are running under, oh, how do you say it? Limited crowds, strict social guidelines, things like that. So yeah, it's opening up, but it's not the like it was beforehand.
Oh no,
Definitely not. But
without a doubt. Are you wrestling? When's the last time you actually got in the ring and wrestled?
Saturday, and I'm actually getting ready to get into a match here in about an hour and a half.
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna be wrestling tonight.
So you're actually going to be leaving as soon as you get off of here?
Absolutely. And the promotion from where I'm at right now can make the promotion 10 minutes.
Really? So what's the name of the promotion?
Now I'm working with Resolute Wrestling tonight.
Oh, Resolute. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And where do they wrestle out of?
Crossville, Tennessee, 467 Old Lantana Road. And anybody that's from Crossville, I can tell you that that's the old last call bar.
Crossville, Tennessee. Do they have a Facebook page? Promote yourself. Where can we find you if we want to look up Dustin Johns?
Well, I'll tell you that Resolute Wrestling has a Facebook page, facebook.com/Resolute Wrestling. If you want to find me, you can find me on Facebook as the fan page, The Antagonist Dustin Johns. You can find me on Twitter, twitter.com/Antagonist Johns. You can find my personal page on Facebook. Just looking for Dustin Johnson. And if you find a picture of me with my arms folded in a Black Label Society jacket, you found me.
That's where I found you.
Mm-hmm.
Without a doubt. Well, man, let me tell you, it has been a fun time interviewing you, sir. Man, an hour went by quick. I looked up and wow, we're already 57 something minutes in. But it's time to go. I got some things I got to do in here. Got to get some chores done and things like that. I've had 3 videos. I'm tired. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I am exhausted today. 3 shows. I love it. This is a labor of love. But with all the work I've had to do in the last 24 hours to get these things done, I am exhausted. It's gonna be an early night for me tonight, man.
I think with me, after we're done tonight, it's going to be a steak dinner because I haven't had much, if I can even get that. And then I'm crashing too, man. And I'm gonna go see my father
I'm going
this
to ask you
weekend.
this before we take off. I'm going to ask you this because a buddy of mine who usually watches the show, he might have a show tonight. He's a podcaster. He likes asking this question. It seems like a good question right now. On wrestling day, how do you prepare? Go through a day of Dustin Johns from when you wake up to when you get in the ring.
Wake up. If I've got the shoot job, I do a shoot job. Let's pretend I don't have the shoot job during the day. Wake up, watch tape. Watch one of my last match. Pick myself apart. If I did something I didn't like, let's take that out. How can I do something better? Let's do that. I'll go get a quick lift session at the gym. Something real quick. Get the blood pumping. Nothing major. Not a 1.5 hour deal. I mean, 30 minutes. Light weights. Let's get the blood flow going. Drive to wherever the arena is. And I just during my drive, clear my head. Think about nothing but wrestling because I mean. I'll tell you this, little known fact about me, I do deal with depression, and sometimes it likes to kick my butt, so that's a perfect time to let things go. Get to the arena, shake the hands.
You're not the only one, brother.
get to the arena, shake hands, and just I pray. I'll pray before every match, and just get my head in the game. And when it gets closer and closer to that entrance music every time, because I'm feeling it right now, the butterflies start every time. Once the entrance hits, boom, it's time to go to work.
Do you know who you're wrestling tonight?
Wrestling Brett Ison tonight, the Pitbull.
Great. I will definitely be looking out. I'm going to be watching the Resolute Facebook page to see the results, and hopefully we'll see something on there with the results later on, maybe tonight or maybe tomorrow. And man, keep in touch with us here at Hashtag Truth, and later on down the road, I'd like to have you back on the show and get caught up with you. This has been a pleasure.
Been my pleasure, man. Thank you so much for having me here. I appreciate it very much. Awesome show, and I'm gonna keep up to date on this.
Oh, definitely. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I started this back in 2018. I started it with my cell phone, doing it on Facebook Live, and it was a disaster, but everybody seemed to start watching it. My numbers went up, and I was like, I might have something here. Yep. So I put a little bit of money into it. My wife allowed me to put a little bit of money into it, and I'm doing anywhere from 7,000 to 10,000 views now. So
awesome, man.
You know,
awesome.
I'm digging it. Just got my 1,000th like on my Hashtag Truth Facebook page. I'm very proud of that. Never thought I'd see that number. But we're just having a great time, and I get to know great wrestlers like you. And when I'm up in the Crossville area, I will definitely be looking you up. And I have family that lives up near Nashville. So, and I also have family over near Jackson, Tennessee. So on the other side. So I will definitely be driving down through there or somewhere in the near vicinity. So maybe I could catch up one night. Maybe you'll get a Facebook message from me saying, "Hey, are you wrestling this weekend? I'm going to be driving through." You never know. Hashtag Truth might show up.
Good deal, man. I welcome it, man. You just let me know, and you'll be at the show, man. It's all it takes.
Oh, I love it. I would love that. Well, this is how I'm going to end it, guys. Dustin Johns, the antagonist. If you want to come and see a guy that doesn't get his face mask turned sideways, this is the guy right here. Go to Crossville, Tennessee. Go to Resolute Wrestling. Watch one of these great matches. Hopefully it won't have barbed wire in it. And that is the Hashtag Truth. We'll see you guys Monday. Thanks a lot. I know three shows today. There was a lot of content, but I appreciate everybody that comes here. Thank you again, Dustin.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure, man. And we will see you guys Monday.